he did it by revealing who he was. He was not an earthly king. He was not a political leader. He was not there to fix all their cultural and societal and all that. It was it didn't begin, but one of the dramatic moments was when he asked him, who you say that I am. Peter was the only one who could find his face, the heart of Christ, the Son of God. Flesh and blood had not revealed this unto Jesus. It culminated, if you will, on the Mount of Transfiguration. The three disciples, one of them were like decades later, when he beheld his majesty. And they saw him draw a fleshly veil, and his image was transformed and shining. They saw him as more than human. His miracles were always designed to lift their eyes upward. Rather than think this is all about our needs right now, there's a higher. Now, I said all that to say this is entirely. They were still devastated by persecution. And not because they lost their master, their teacher, but because they, as recently as maybe just a few months before, they said, why don't you sit on your right hand and the other sit on the platform? You come here. Still together. So here he since the resurrection of Lazarus, the drumbeat had increased its rapidity and its rhythm and cadence, and things were happening quickly. But now it would come out of everyone's hands. The mob would come, and the arrest would happen, and the beating and scourging, but what shall I do with Jesus called Christ, and give us Barabbas, and the sound of the nails being driven into his. This would all happen very quickly now. So he's in his last opportunity. And here's what he said to them. Jesus said unto them, all things shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, now the Son of Spirit shall fall. But after I am risen again, I will go before you. Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Jesus said unto him, O man, verily I say to thee, this night, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me 3 times. Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. He's talking about out of touch with his own. He was great. But he wasn't alone. He was the last. Likewise also said all others. I want to talk about dealing with this. Dealing with this. As you do this. Now, what I'll be dealing with today is so much part of the human experience that sometimes I think our greatest challenge in dealing with is we underestimate its effect. In fact, even as common as it is, I've run into a lot of people who simply do not recognize its presence in their life. It's like that happens to other people. Should have shocked us that Simon Peter said, well, I see these other guys, but not me. And that's the tragedy of being human. It is a devastating experience that hardly leaves any tracks unless we become aware of our need to have a wisdom. is a fundamental principle in leading people. This proof against being tempted, this protection against being offended. But not only that, I once heard Brother N.A. Urshan preach on this very thing. And I've heard him preach incredible messages since I was a teenager, first in the church. But it was probably the finest I ever heard. And it was on this very subject. And he made this comment, I never forgotten. He said, my experience, most people who lose out with God do so because they were offended. Somewhere, sometime or another, they were hurt by the actions of someone else, and it festered beneath and eventually became destroyed. Now, I would add that as General Secretary for 20 years, and I'm sure Brother Urshan could have had it as General Superintendent for 24 years, most preachers and preachers' wives who break fellowship, who leave fellowship with others, who isolate themselves, who even reach the point of quitting the ministry, most of them, almost all, is because somewhere they were offended. It could have been not being chosen for a position. It could be problems in the church. It could be a falling out with a friend. It could even be ailments. But somewhere something happened, and they were offended. And ultimately, it destroyed them as a leader, as many times as a Christian. So I think the subject that I feel on my heart today is an absolutely vital part of our ministerial survival, that we learn how to deal with being offended. It is not only absolutely vital for our ministerial survival, our very Christian survival, our spiritual survival, is dependent on how we handle this. More than any other, our success or failure in what God calls you to do has to do with how well you handle being offended. We've all met bitter and angry people. You pastor something. Every church has them. Angry folks who carry grudges for years. My grandfather was a preacher's kid. And somewhere, and I've never been able to identify it, my grandpa got hurt. He got offended. And he carried that offense for 40 plus years. It affected him in every way. He was a failure in many, many ways that kept. As a husband, as a father, as a Christian, he died, and I pray he made it right in the final moments. But if he didn't, he died lost without God. And I can tell you, it's because he was offended. People didn't treat his father right, and he took offense, and he carried it for more than 4 decades. So I'm here today to tell you it's something you cannot afford to ignore. That when it happens, you must guard your heart, and you must carefully monitor your spirit and your attitude, because this can destroy you. We know them. We see them. They can't get over something that happened maybe decades before, and they carry it every day of their lives. Then we also know people who shrug off of things, who forget and forgive and live happy and joyous lives. Their lives focused on heavenly things, not here. It's easy to say, well, they just don't get hurt. I don't think that's the case. I think somewhere along the line, they learned how to deal with it, and they know that people are people, and I'm not going to let you destroy my joy and take my walk with God. Now, here's my question. Who do you think It's going to endure to the end. That bitter, angry, hurt or that joyous, excited, optimistic. Now, we have to say, if it happened last time, Jesus said, all. The question is not if. The question is only when. Maybe how many times. Because you will. If you work with people, if you pour your life into people, if you are on this earth to try to help people, I promise you, you will be disappointed and you will be hurt. It will happen. So it's important that we become offense-proof. That somewhere there is a layer that things can't get past. That it will not get into my spirit.
It will not get into my heart. But I can live a life offense-proof. Now, Jesus loved these men, and they loved him. And he had spent long hours walking the roads of Galilee and the Jerusalem environs, even into the wilderness. And he had spent time with them, preparing them from what's about to happen. He spent this time because he put a dream, a hope on them. Now I know Jesus is God, right? I mean, he could do it any way he wanted to. But don't forget, he chooses to use human beings to accomplish his work. And he chose these 12 men, one of whom was a devil. But he chose these 12 men to found the church. He would depend on them. Notice, they will play a role for decades to come. John, in fact, would live out the century, almost 70 years, as the last surviving disciple, still affecting and directing and founding a church that would endure for 2 millennia at least. And these men were vital to that happening. And so he was trying to prepare them. And one way, and I read it to you and I've mentioned it, one way is to confront them with this thing called offense. It was so much a potential wrecker that Jesus, of all the things he kind of left, kind of hinted at, and so forth. But this one thing, and he didn't take 3 to the top of the mountain only. Not here, not now. They're all there. And he includes every one of them. And he says, here's what's going to determine whether you make it or not. You're going to be offended tonight. You're going to be offended. That's what we can take from this. Offenses are inevitable. Then said he to his disciples, this is Luke 17, verse 1, it is impossible but that offenses will come. You can't escape it. That's not how you deal with it. Avoid it. You can't avoid it.